Vanamangalang Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Purida Janaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, your gospel is like nectar and bliss, showered upon the pain-stricken lives of suffering humanity. It dispels all the sins and misdeeds of life. It brings spiritual welfare in life. The spiritual beauty, prosperity and grace spreads through and through one who listens to your holy message. They are the real givers who preach and pronounce the nectar of your message to the suffering humanity. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So today we are reading Gospel again, and it is a conversation Sri Ramakrishna is having with Mahimacharan, a great scholar of that time. And Ramakrishna went to the home of Girish Ghosh. He was staying in Balaram Bose's house, which is very close, and then went on invitation to Girish's place. So now there was a conversation going on, and Mahimacharan was asking a question about Samadhi. He says that is Samadhi possible? One person going into Samadhi, can he come down after attaining Samadhi? It's a very big question. Many people think that no, if you reach there, how can you come back again? But Sri Ramakrishna, also in the scripture, we hear about Sapta Bhumi, 7 plains. And they talk about these 7 plains, how? They say that first step of Samadhi is called Subhecha. So put the lights on, all the lights on. Subhecha, it will be different?
A little bit, yes.
Oh, acha tale diyo na.
That's good.
Huh? Okay. So, Subhecha, first Shubha Ichha, noble desire to realize the truth and the search for this practice called Samadhi. You sit there in left, next one, yeah. No, here, that's okay. Oh, acha. No, only come here. So the whole hall is empty. So the question Mahimacharan said to the master, Sir, can man return from the plane of Samadhi to the plane of ordinary world, this world in which we are living? Can one, attaining that Samadhi, can come down? So this master, in a low voice to Mahima, he is saying, I shall tell you privately. You are the only one person fit to hear it. It's very high level of secret discussion. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is saying, oh, for us it is nothing secret. Now, through internet we all read all these things, so no problem. But to Sri Ramakrishna, this question is a very serious question. And even if he tells, who will understand? So he is saying that you are the only fit person I can talk to you, but I should tell you privately. So what he says, that is there, Sri Ramakrishna says, the Choir Singh also asked me the same question. You see, there is a vast difference between the Jiva and the Ishvara. Through worship and austerity, the Jiva can at the utmost attain Samadhi. But he cannot come down from that state. On the other hand, an incarnation of God can come down from Samadhi. A Jiva is like an officer of the king. He can go as far as the outer court of the seven-storied palace. But the king's son has access to all the seven floors. He can also get outside. Everybody says that no one can return from the plane of Samadhi. In that case, how do you account for sages like Shankara, Ramanuja? They retain the ego of knowledge. So this is a big discussion. First of all, can one go to Samadhi? Ordinary people can go? Yes. Ramakrishna says one can go. The two categories of people are there. We are all jivas, individual soul, covered with ignorance, all our imperfections. By spiritual practice, by prayer, by meditation, by selfless activity, or whatever analytical path of seeing what is the truth and untruth, all this one can really purify the mind and can reach Samadhi. But Samadhi has different planes. Probably Ramakrishna is talking about the absorbing Samadhi, that's Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So after that, can one come back? Well, ordinary people cannot come back. Ordinary jivas, those who are practicing spiritual discipline, cannot come back. That means who have come back, they have not reached the say flight, ultimate flight. It indicates from Sri Ramakrishna's word. But we find some similarity in the context when we talk about, when we find that in the scripture, in Yuga Vasishtha, where it is said that there are 7 planes, the stages of Samadhi. What are the 7 stages? First is called Shubhecha, Shubha Ichha. Shubha means noble, Ichha means desire. The urge, I want to know the truth, Shubha Ichha. Then deeply getting involved into his vicharana. He lives in the level of contemplation. That is the truth, and I am that. I want to identify with that. And stays in that vicharana, Subhecha vicharana. Then by that process they become what? Tonu manasa. Then mind becomes tonu. Tonu means attenuated. Our mind is gross. That's why it jump from here and there, all the monkey jumping. By this practice, when long practice, this mind becomes tonu, means very pure, and becoming attenuated, means his jumping is reducing. And then, then comes the question, your mind becomes much more perfect and you become touch of that joy. That's called Jivan Mukti. We read about Jivan Muktas. In the 2nd chapter we chant in the morning, it is called the Sthita Prajna, whose wisdom, who is established in his wisdom. He is established. But that is only, what stage? 4th stage. Shubhecha, then vicharana means just remaining in that plane of that consciousness. Mind is doing all the work, but his mind is absorbed in thinking of the oneness of Brahman and Atman, no? That type of concept. Not reached any, not experienced yet, but mind is becoming then finer and finer, and that finer and pure mind is giving a Jivan Mukti. Now, which is the 5? This is the 4th stage, no? Jivan Mukti is the 4th stage. Then they say 5th stage come. Then Jivan Mukti, Asankshakti. Then you get into some absorption. You have no attachment to anything. That means it is a deeper type of absorption coming. Jivan Mukti, we think, ha. But there are higher stage of Jivan Mukti. That is called the Asankshakti. That is the which stage? 5. And now then another stage. What is that? Padartha bhavini. Then in that stage, padartha is the only padartha. Pada is Brahman, I, Tat, Tam, these are pada. Artha is the meaning. They get much absorbed in that meaning, tat, aham, and that value, they go such deep absorption that they totally lost into that. But they can come back by their own effort down. Still they can come down. And then another stage goes Turiyoga. Turiyo means the climax, ultimate. Turiyo. Turjaga. And that stage, if one tries, he cannot come back. Someone can try to bring him down, cannot. He cannot do by himself. But this type of samadhi people can be brought down. There is a process, chanting or doing something. But that state, that is, if you once reach there, then you cannot come back. Ramakrishna gave the example that Kalapanite jahaj gele ar fere na. In the deep sea, Kalapani means the deep sea. When in early days, they have no navigating system or something so modern or anything. So he said that in that when one enters into the deep sea, and they could not find out how to come back, that boat or that ship does not come back. That means he is lost into the infinity. So similarly, Ramakrishna says, Jiva, if any sadhaka, ordinary people, if they can go up to that samadhi, ultimate samadhi, climax, Turiyoga, there no one can come back. But there is an exception, who is called Ishvara, the God when he comes down, or Ishwar Koti. Those people belong to that same rank of, they live there only for the good of humanity. They are called Ishvara Kotis. Like, who are the Ishvara Kotis? Vivekananda, Brahmananda, Ramakrishna earmarked them. They are Ishvara Kotis. So those are special people. They are like the son of, they are like the prince. The king's inner courtier, they can go anywhere, no? But kings, if the king appoints somebody for some job, he may be a big officer, but he cannot go into the inner courtyard and enter into the queen's palace or inside, no? So it is the interior. So Ramakrishna says, the ordinary jiva, like any sadhaka, they can go, be jivan mukta. If jivan mukta, then further they can go, asang shakti. A stage will come, totally detached from everything. Sang shakti is asakti, totally gone. But still, they have their chance of coming back. But if that moves into the real samadhi, what we are talking about, then they cannot come back. These are the 7 stages of samadhi spoken in the Yoga Vasishta probably. Humbling. So, that's why Sri Ramakrishna says only Ishvara can come. And he is giving the example. If that is not so, then how Sankara, Ramanuja, he is talked about. See, we make a distinction. Sankara is Advaita, Ramanuja is qualified non-dualism. This is higher, this is lower. But in the eye of Ramakrishna, it is God himself who appeared in the form of Krishna, in the form of Sankara. And he appeared in the form of what you call the Ramanuja. And they came and they attained to the same experience. But they came down and preached the whole world with Sankara's philosophy. How much work he did. If he has not come back, how did it happen? Ramanuja, if he didn't come back from his experience, then how it will happen? Though he propounded, these are the for Ishvara Ichcha, for God's work, they come and then preach certain philosophy. for the good of humanity of that time. So he is giving the example, they are like son, like prince, king and his son. So you see how it matches. Christ is the son of Father in the heaven. No? They say how the language matches. Son of God can do that. Son of God means he is the future king. So only for the good of humanity, when that power comes down, they can go to Samadhi. And Ramakrishna is the gross example. Every day, how many times he is going to Samadhi and coming back? What the question of one time? Of course, this is very exceptional. We never find accepting in Sri Chaitanya's life. No one have ever shown in history that could go to Samadhi and come back, go on like nothing, just when you switch and then coming down again. Huh? So this is exceptional thing. So it is example, Ramakrishna said, only God, when he incarnates for the good of humanity, they can remain in that highest flight, and at the same time they can come down. So, but ordinary sadhakas can go be jivan mukta. They can be liberated while alive. But they can go up to asang shakti. But if they go once into the range of what you call the tur yoga or tur yoga, that is the technical term, 7 stages, last stage, then he will be unable to come back and back to the body consciousness. So that is the, but that is though impossible for ordinary jiva, but it is possible for king's son. Yes.
So when the jiva mukta gives up the body, does he attain the last?
Of course, that's true. That's why it says, vimuktascha vimuchyate. They have attained such perfection there because they have got the glimpse of that touch, not merging into such level that they cannot come back. But when our prarabdha karma, say so many sages, saints, so whom we respect very much, say Ramana Maharshi, of course I should not classify anyone in any level. My concept goes that if such saintly people who have accomplished such a flight, but they come back and they live like human being, giving advice and living like us, eating, sleeping, they are maybe jivan muktas. They may have gone to the next stage, asang shakti. They have come down by their own effort or by someone's effort. But next, when they leave their body, all their prarabdha karma is gone. So they have nothing to come back. So they merge. That's why he said, these jivan muktas, when they give up their body, there is no reason of their coming back. Unless God wants that soul, hey, come back for my job. Like Vivekananda. Vivekananda was pulled back. He wanted to be in Samadhi. That's why Ramakrishna saw that his mind is going up, and lived in a plane which is called Saptarshi. 7 sages are deeply meditating in their absolute oneness. No? By why they are there? By God's will. Well, they will have to, occasionally, you need the strong military person to fight with the evils. No? So powerful people are necessary. So Vivekananda was a powerful person like that. So he was called by Ramakrishna himself. The God himself said, hey, come, I am coming down. No? Hey, you are blocking. Can go little one step. One step? Yeah. Are you sit in the corner. Okay. Now I can see everyone. So king's son has the access to all the 7 floors. 7 floors mean, the 7 floors, these 7 steps you can say. In they call Bengali, they call Saddeurir Pare Raja. The king sits after 7 gates. Anyone cannot meet the king, no? First you go and see the guard. And Ramakrishna told that story. There are big guards are there. They have their stars here, there, because they are main guard to enter into the main palace where king is there. So people not knowing, seeing him, say, oh, he is king? Well, no, he's a guard only. Then you go to the second guard. Second guard has more jewelry, stars, and gorgeous more. Huh? And then you say, is he God? Is he king? And then Ramakrishna said he goes to second, to third, to fourth, to fifth, to sixth. And when he sees seventh, and beyond seventh is king sitting, he does not ask anymore, is it king? All this question gone, because he saw the king. So that is the state Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There is no more any question. A doubt goes away. Questioning does not happen in the mind of anybody. So everybody says that no one can return from the plane of Samadhi. Ramakrishna says, in that case, how do you account for sages like Sankara and Ramanuja? They retained ego of knowledge. They came down. How? How they come down? You have to keep some knowledge of your ego. I. See, look at Ramakrishna, what he does. When he goes to deep Samadhi and he's absorbed, time goes away. Suddenly we find that he speaks. Ami jal khabo. I will drink water. I is coming first. That I was totally merged. And that I is the ripened I. Ours is unripened I. That I is the ripened I. With that I, they come down and they live and do good to the world. Mahima. That is true indeed. Otherwise, how could they write books? Shankaracharya wrote book. Ramanuja has his philosophies. So, Master started again. Master is responding. Quote. Again, there are instances of sages like Prahlada, Narada, and Hanuman. They too retain bhakti after attaining Samadhi. Now, you think that Samadhi is only for the Gyanis? Not this, I am that. No. Samadhi is also for bhaktas. See, this is the uniqueness of Sri Ramakrishna. No one have reconciled this way. If they are Jnani, they will talk only of the Jnana. But Sri Ramakrishna followed the path of Jnana, followed the path of Bhakti. So he can say, hey, I went to Samadhi there also. Parabhakti. That's called the supreme love. That love where the individual and the beloved, no difference remains. Nasa ramana na hama ramani duhumili ekaps peshalajani. In the Bhakti school they say, when they follow the path of devotion, says, you are my beloved, O Lord, please help me. I want not this world, I want to be with you, no? With this urge they move and move and move. So intoxicating love comes, and what happens? At that point, he forgets that I love him, he is my beloved, lover and the beloved. The dual idea goes away. There is not that I am the Radha, you are the Krishna. Radha forgets Radha, whether he or she. Forgets Krishna, he or she. It becomes one. Duhumili eka. Two become one, and they get absorbed into oneness. That is the Samadhi. So Ramakrishna is saying this. This is very important. That's why Vedanta, Ramakrishna Vedanta, is really, there is no unparalleled, because it conjoins all these conflicts. If you go to the school of, devotional school of people, that's why they say sannyasins, there is no hope for them. They are mayavadi. And then sannyasins will say, hey, they are only bhaktas. They sing and dance. Nothing will happen. We will get the samadhi. See, both are incomplete. But here you come to Ramakrishna, he said, no. In the path of bhakti also, they attain the same samadhi. So, again, there is Prahlada is the example of Prahlada. Narada, he has attained to that supreme love, ecstatic love. But for the good of humanity, preaching whole world, they're singing the glories of God. Hanumanji doing the Lord's work. Srinathe Janaki Nathe Abheda Paramatmani Paramatma. I don't know, I know Srinath, the Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, and Janakinath, Mother Sita. Who is Sita? She is Lakshmi. I know that. And I know they are Abhed, non-different. And they are Paramatma, supreme Purusha, supreme consciousness. That's the point. If Paramatma was off, then it is duality even. But when they put the word Paramatma, that Paramatma is the supreme self. Abheda Paramatmani. Then also when I come down, I love more of Rama. Rama Kamala Lochana. But the point is that these differences merge in one place. I know that. Know that means not intellectual. Hanumanji is saying, I know that, I experience that, I feel that, I have that direct experience. Mahima says, that is true, sir. Then Master said again, some people indulge in philosophical speculation and think much of themselves. Perhaps they have studied a little Vedanta. But a man cannot be egotistic if he has true knowledge. It is said that empty vessel sounds, what is that? Empty vessel? Makes more noise than kiki. What is the proverb?
Empty vessel makes noise when it's being filled with water. Gurgles.
Yeah, bug, 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 bug. If you take that, like that. If you take an empty vessel and put in a reservoir or where there is more water, and it starts talking, bug, 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 like that. But when it becomes almost full, you say no noise. So those who are immature in Vedanta, they talk big things. But for the who are mature in knowledge, there is not much word. You remember that one gentleman came to Belur Math and he was asking some big philosopher. So he came and Mahapurush Maharaj was there and the Swami Omkarananda Maharaj. He was one of our great stalwart. All the Vedas, Vedantas, Snaya, Sankara, and all this is master. He can shred your argument to zero. So when that man came, he asked, do you want to hear? He asked, sir, I want to know the truth. Do you want to know the truth in one word? Come to me. If you want to know it in so many languages, go to Omkarananda. Mane, he can satisfy your intellect. I don't care for intellectual talk because I have seen God. So that is the point. So they don't indulge in discussion. It is those who have tasted the Rasagulla. Suppose good cake or say so many snacks, cookies. So if one has cham, so if you get all this tasted, and now I am tasting, I am eating now, and you give a talk about, cham is so good, it is made of this, made of that, it will be dry talk, get out. Those who have not any experience, that word will please to them. But those who have tasted, it is useless to talk to them, give a talk about that sweet or that whatever is wonderfully appreciated. So in spiritual life also, the egotistic, then they have to, of course they express their knowledge, and knowledge is intellectual knowledge. So that is natural. But for experienced people, it is not so. So he says, perhaps they have studied a little Vedanta, Ramakrishna's language, they have studied a little Vedanta. But a man cannot be egotistic can not be egotistic. That means ego will not go away if he has true knowledge. Unless you have true knowledge, K capital, not this material knowledge, but the spiritual knowledge, knowledge of oneness. That is the knowledge they are talking about. We have knowledge. We have knowledge. I know this table. This is my knowledge. I know this is called chandelier. This is my knowledge. This is my hand. I know that. Not this knowledge. That knowledge, absolute knowledge, where there is no diversity on the truth and truth alone. Cosmic experience. In other words, in Samadhi, man becomes one with God and get rid of his egoism. What is the sign of Samadhi? That means his ego is totally gone. Oh, that example, Ramakrishna's example comes again and again. What? Salt doll wanted to measure the ocean, and as he enters into it, it dissolves. Even that I, who will say, I shall measure, so it goes up, and up to top, then it is all dissolved into the ocean. Who will then say, I will see, I will describe ocean? Unless God's grace, you come back again and solidify, then you can say something. You be a doll again by God's will, then you will be able to do. True knowledge is impossible. True knowledge is impossible without Samadhi. These words are very powerful words. We talk about knowledge, ultimate knowledge, the knowledge of Vedantic knowledge, true Vedantic knowledge, is experience. And which experience? Not the experience of any other level, but to this level of Turiya. Only the person of Samadhi, he knows truth. Otherwise, all are in a level, still difference is there. Little ego is still there to separate out the individual jiva from the cosmic reality. That means we don't understand this, how our scripture give this example. Suppose ordinary sadhaka is like, given an example, suppose you take 7 petals of say roses, no? And take a pin and strike it. At one stroke, what will happen? As if with split second, it penetrates all the petals, is it not? That's why ordinary jiva, if they get to reach there, they pass to the 7 petals in one stroke. If their mind is so pure by sadhana continuously. But avatars are there, they can understand. This is the first petal, I am crossing the second petal, and I am going to the third petal, and the fourth petal, fifth petal, sixth petal, seventh petal. That is, they have the power to understand this stage to stage difference. Ordinary people, we have no. That's why Yoga Vasishta, what he says, 7 stages, we only heard these 7 words, and we are trying to understand intellectually what is that. But there are all experience. From the point that Subhecha, Vicharana, and then Asang Shakti, these 3 states, Tanu Manasa, these 3 states are not yet experience has come. Asang Shakti, Jivan Mukti, Asang Shakti, and Turiyoga. These are the different levels of depth of experience. So we do not understand what is that depth. But he says that you will find a shadow of ego, but you do not see. Do you know, get rid of egoism? True knowledge is impossible without Samadhi. In Samadhi only, man becomes one with God, then he can have no ego. Do you know what it is like? And he is giving the example. Ramakrishna is very simple. That's why the highest truth can be expressed in simple language. What he says, just as the noon, suppose you are walking in anywhere, you see your shadow. When the sun is coming up, you are walking, you have a long shadow, no? Maybe 10 feet long. And now the sun goes up, 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 up. Na? And you are walking. Your shadow will be shorter, shorter, shorter. And when it comes in the mid-sun, no sun, no shadow. Ramakrishna give that example. Just at noon, the sun is directly overhead. If you look around then, you don't see your own shadow. Likewise, you will not find the shadow of ego. This ego is a shadow of the reality. Real truth is there, real I is there, and this body-mind complex says, I did this, I wanted to do that. I am such a great person. I am a knowledgeable person. So, this is the shadow part of the real I. So, likewise, you will not find the shadow of ego when after attaining knowledge. And he is saying knowledge means samadhi. It's not the ordinary knowledge, not the knowledge of Jivan Mukti, not the knowledge of going to Tanu Manasanaki, whereby I forget the terminology, Asangsakti or whatever. Asangsakti. And then Turiyoga. Turiyoga is the last one. Padartha. But if you see in any one a trace of I consciousness, after attainment of the true knowledge, then know that it is either the ego of knowledge or the ego of devotion or the servant ego. If you find such people in the world, that they have I consciousness of a very holy person. You find Ramana Maharshi is talking so much. He has I consciousness. But Ramakrishna says, no, that after attainment of knowledge, they know that it is either the ego of knowledge. They keep the God's will, so they keep the ego of knowledge capital. They keep the ego of devotion, D capital, or the servant ego. I am Hanumanji, Dasoham, I am your servant. I am your servant. He used to live in 3 moods. Hanumanji used to live in 3 moods. Dehu buddhya tu dasosmi. When I think I am the body, I know I am the servant, you are the master. No? When I raise my consciousness to jiva, I am the 17 elements comprising what is called jiva, 5 sense organs, etc., etc., mana, buddhi. 3 into 5, 5 sense organs of perception, organs of action, and 5 elements. Plus mind and buddhi, this is 17 element, which remains in our dream state. When you are in dream, you forget this body, no? But you have these 17 things. That's the jiva. When I think I am jiva, then I know I am jiva, you are the whole, I am the part, I am one drop, you are the ocean, no? And when I think that I am that Atman, then you and me, who is you, who is me? We become one. Aham Brahmasmi. That is the state. So, that is the ego of knowledge, or that is the ego of devotion, or called the servant ego. It is not the ego of ignorance as we are having now. It is not ignorance. So this knowledge, we are also knowledgeable people, but we are knowledgeable about ignorance. See the language. We say, we are learned. I know so many subjects, no? It is knowledge in the worldly language. But in spiritual language, you are most ignorant. You do not know that one, that Upanishad says, Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatang bhavati iti. If the question comes, that Kasminnu bhagavo, oh Lord, oh God, please tell me, oh teacher, please tell me. Vigyate, learning one thing, I can know everything. Vigyate sarvam idam vigyatang bhavati iti. That's also this question. Narada went to whom? Chandogya Upanishad. Narada went to his teacher and asked, anyhow, we'll remember. So he went and he said that Sanat Kumara. Narada went to the sage Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara was a teacher and he was a realized soul. So he saluted, Sir, Om Bhagavad, I have come to you. Please help me with the knowledge of the self. Then the Sanat Kumara said, okay, you want to know the Brahman, Atman, okay. First tell me, what have you learned? And they give a big list of knowledge, which you call knowledgeable people. Huh?
But it's a knowledge is those are information.
That's the point. That's the point. Information, even you see, we give big stamp to the world, no? He is this, he is an expert in this subject. He is an expert on that subject. So he also studied many subjects. He studied the astronomy, he studied the anatomy, he understood the metallurgy, and different names, music, this, that, many subjects. And after listening to that, but he was humble. He said that, Sir, I only know in name. It's only superficial. I know, as you said, it is information. But not information, much more than us. That's why we give them stamp. We ask, who is he? We have to listen today. Some person is talking about neuroscience. Why you go to listen to the neuroscience? Because he is expert in that. So she is a knowledgeable person. But that knowledge and this knowledge is not the same. That's the point. So it is he, then the Sanat Kumara said that you are only by name. You do not know that one, knowing which everything will be done. Then so Narada said, please teach me, sir. I want to know that. And then the teaching started there. Now Sri Ramakrishna continues. Again, Jnana and Bhakti are twin paths. Whichever you follow, it is God that you will ultimately reach. Don't make, I am a Jnani, I am a higher, he is a Bhakta, he is lower. Our Bhaktas, so-called Bhaktas think Bhakta is higher, Jnana is Gyan Chachuri koche. They are making a khichuri of Jnana, Gyan Chachuri. So, Etana, that is not the truth. Truth is that these are the two paths, twin paths. Whichever you follow, it is God that you will ultimately reach. If you really follow that path, you will reach God by that path. The Jnani looks on God in one way, and the Bhakta looks on him in another way. The God of Jnani is full of brilliance. That's why Jnanis always, when they talk about light. Effulgent light. Light of the sun is like the sun's light, like the effulgence of the, that is self-effulgent, like that. And Bhakta, it is Ananda. Joy. Dance in the name of God and sing in the name of God. It is joy. They say, these Jnanis don't have the taste of this joy. They are seeing only, analyzing the thing and saying it is consciousness. What consciousness will give? There is no joy. But it is not so. Where there is consciousness, there is joy. Satchit Ananda, the three things are not three. It is one subject looked from three angles, and we give the three names to the same thing. When you take ice cream in your mouth, ice cream is there, is it not? Ice cream is, and when you take, you are aware that you are eating something, and the taste of sugar. Can you separate out ice cream, one side, put it out, and the taste of sweetness, another area, and knowledge of that ice cream? Can you make it separate like that? No, you cannot. So people don't understand. But they fight with each other. Jnani is only Gyan Chachuri. That means they are talking about Brahman, Atman, Maya, rope, snake, this, that, superimposition, this, that. They don't taste the love of God. But no, not so. Where is there is knowledge, true knowledge, there is. As I say, if you take a bite of any ice cream, you are feeling the existence of ice cream, satpat. You are feeling your knowledge. Your mind is saying, yeah, I am eating ice cream. And tongue is saying it is sweet. So God is not dry. So only the terminology makes it different. When you say God, which God you are talking about? So that's why Ramakrishna makes a synthesis here. He says the Jnani looks on God in one way and the Bhakta looks on him in another way. The God of Jnani is full of brilliance, light, effulgence, jyoti, no? We say in the every evening prayer, what? Jyotira jyoti, ujala hridikandara, O Ramakrishna. You are the light of the light, which illumines the heart. Eh? It is full of brilliance, it is full of light. No? Jyotira jyoti, ujala hridikandara, tumi tamo bhanjanohar. You are the destroyer of all tamas, all darkness, all ignorance. You are the destroyer of ignorance. You are the destroyer of all tamas. So, you are light. That is the way. So, he says that Jnani talks about that, full of brilliance, and Bhakta, God of Bhakta, is full of sweetness. God, when a Bhakta talks about God, he feels the joy of being one, or being his servant, or being his beloved, thinking whatever mood they carry with their divine God, Lord. Now Bhavanath was seated near the master, listening to these words. Bhavanath said to the master, quote, Sir, I have a question to ask. I do not understand the Chandi. It is written there that the Divine Mother kills all beings. What does this mean? It is also a big question. Mother, now COVID. Who is creating COVID? According to Bhakti, it is Mother. Mother is creating COVID. Mother is sufferer and the suffering. There is nothing but Mother in the whole universe. So what is this play? What is this thing? Then Ramakrishna says, this is all her lila. These are all Mother's divine sport. Because there is nothing but Mother. So Mother in the Puthi, written by Akshay Kumar Sen, in the praise of Holy Mother Sarada, he has mentioned, Eka tumi aditya aponomayai dhoriyacho buhuru dhoriyacho buhuru apono khelai. So, Eka, you are the only one absolute truth. O Mother, he is praising Divine Mother Sarada, saying, O Mother, you are only one and absolute. There is nothing else but you. But you have taken so many forms, so many bodies. You are the only one, and you have taken the form by your own playful mood. So, who is being killed and who is being protected? Who is the killing person, who is being killed, persecutor and the persecuted? They are the only one, is Mother. So it is all the play of the Divine Mother from that perspective. So it is a very high level, not to just equate that with our level of understanding. So we are talking from, Ramakrishna is talking from a very high pedestal. So people will question, then it is COVID is Mother's play. And Mother's play. But it is plain to us, what is Mother's play? Mother is sitting somewhere, but we are suffering. We are always putting the mask. We are trying to keep distance. We have to keep the temple closed. We are all doing all these things. A Mother's play. Hey, who are you? It is mother talking to you in one form, and mother is suffering in another form. Mother is getting free from all disease, that's also another form. Mother is coming in the form of vaccine, that's also mother. So what do you think? It is all mother. Who are you? It is mother. Don't talk about yourself. So, Master said, this is all her lila. Her sportive pleasure, this is a pleasure which is sports. That question used to bother me too. Ramakrishna says, that question used to bother me too. Later I found out that all is Maya. Both creation and destruction are all God's Maya. See, now the question comes that question, Ramakrishna says, I used to think, that is what is going on. If mother is so kind, why so much suffering? Why people are being tortured by some other person? Well, that was he's coming down to our level. Yes, that was also my question. But now I know it is all mother. There is nothing but mother. So, that very difficult to understand. But only one example is very close. I like that, I gave it many times. Suppose it is mother is Maya. What is Maya? In mother's play. How mother plays? Suppose you enter into a room full of convex or concave glasses fitted into the room. So you are only one person standing there. If there is say 1 million different curvature, all these convex or concave, different angle, different level, you are standing one. The same person will be viewed in every mirror, and you will look so different. So who is killing whom? Who is good? Who is bad? It matters little, because you are the same person standing and everything is only reflection. So in that way, though it seems that someone is tortured, it is mother. That's why your ego is creating the trouble. Get out of your ego. When mothers play, mother will understand. So now, after Sir Ramakrishna said, it is her sportive pleasure, it is her sport, her fun. That question used to bother me. Later I found out what Ramakrishna said, I found out. What he found out? That all is Maya. Both creation and destruction. She is creating the whole world. You don't talk about that. If the population becomes 7 billion, no one says, hey, why God has created 7 billion? You are not praising, giving, clapping, oh ma, you created so many. And when someone is killed, they say, ha, God is so unkind. So creation is her play, destruction is also her play. So creation, destruction, all her play, it is God's Maya. Now this discussion stopped, and then Girish came and conducted Ramakrishna and the devotees to the roof. When any program means what? After the end, we get function, is eating. Prasad. So Ramakrishna was invited to go into the roof, and there is arrangement for sitting. So Ramakrishna sat there, and the devotees faced them, and they are served. And Naren came there. It is said that it was the devoted in the roof where the meals were served. There was a bright moon in the sky. The devotees took their seats. The master occupied a seat in front of them. All were in joyous mood. Ramakrishna was beside himself with joy when he saw Narendra. Naren came. The beloved disciple sat in the front now. And every now and then the master asked how he was getting along. He was talking to Naren. He had hardly finished half of his meal, Ramakrishna, when he came to Narendra with some watermelon. Sarvat. Sarvat means you do that. Juice. Watermelon, juice. And Ramakrishna was served. So Ramakrishna brought it for Naren. And curd. So 2 items, probably Ramakrishna liked, so he took those items and placed before Naren and for his own plate, from his own plate. And tenderly he said to the disciple, please eat this. Then he went back to his own place. So here is the end of the reading of that day. We will read next Saturday, May 9, 1885. So today's discussion is mostly on Samadhi and the 2 ways of reaching God, Bhakti and Jnana. And Bhakti and Jnana are all not different, it is only path is different. Reaching the end is the same, as Ramakrishna confirmed today again. Okay, if there is some question, then I'll go for it, but if there what and how Advaita philosophy is affecting in real life to their devotee or philosophy of the people. What and how Advaita philosophy is affecting in real life. Advaita will be affecting the real life if one applies that, then he will be free from anxieties, worries. He will be not be disturbed because you know that these are temporary things, changing things. So you practice, then you will feel that yes, it is changing your life also. You before knowing all these things, we get totally absorbed involved into the world, and we are every moment fearful. But we have seen those who practice Vedanta with real sincerity, they become fearless. Everything happens, they say, okay, it is happening to the body. What is that to me? Anything they are affected by emotional disturbance, they suffer less. Physical suffering will be there, but they don't involve into physical suffering. Their attachment to the world diminishes as a result. They become more of in their self-control. So these are the direct effort we can find that. She says, Thakur said to hear the meaning of scriptures from Guru. I try to hear from holy mouth channel. Is it necessary to go with body before Guru? Yes, main thing is that Ramakrishna said, hear the meaning of scriptures from Guru. Yes, if it is good, if you can get the Guru nearby you, yes, it is always beneficial to go. But Guru means what? Gu means, Gu and Ru means he who removes the darkness and brings light. So you can go to any holy person also if you cannot reach your Guru. But good if you can go to your Guru and then ask your spiritual question. That is the best. But Ramakrishna's gospel we did. This is Guru. We may not. We didn't go to our gurus. So someone's Guru may have passed away. It may happen. But Guru does not die. Guru remains in the form of the scriptures. Guru remains in the form of the holy people. Through their mouth, God talks to us. We can learn out of that. It is not, don't talk about your mantra or your individual spiritual practice as your Guru have instructed. But the clarity of these things will come from holy people, from scriptures, and right type of study will help it. And then another question, to excel in the world without ego, we require knowledge of ignorance. In this case, should we parallelly acquire knowledge of truth and knowledge of ignorance? Knowledge of ignorance is not necessary. We are always, what we knowing, it is knowledge, but that knowledge in ignorance. Because I don't see oneness. I see man as man, animal as animal, tree as tree, birds as birds, sun is sun, moon is moon. This is the knowledge, so-called knowledge in which we are born and brought up. But here the pure knowledge without ego, that means the knowledge means knowledge of Atman. So that is to be defined. So we should practice every day this knowledge that this is not knowledge. It is ignorance rather. What we call knowledge is ignorance. No, knowing about the world, knowing about the material things is called knowledge in material science. No. But in spiritual sense, these are knowledge for behavior or transactional activities for day-to-day life. But this is not it will not give us liberation. So knowledge, true knowledge is knowing God. So we have to see God everywhere to destroy what is not God. As Ramakrishna said, bring the light, darkness will go away. So think of God who is Satchidananda. Try to see the presence of God in all being as just you have read. Then it will remove the darkness and ignorance. And that is the so-called ignorance. You need not have to think of ignorance. You think more of positive way, think of the light. But you can think of the ignorance also. You can see that whatever I know, I only know intellectual. But that is not the goal. That is not giving me satisfaction. So where shall I get satisfaction? When I dive deep into the core of my being and reach the real knowledge. So knowledge of the Atman should be practiced. Okay? Does anyone know if in Sanskrit there are two different words for knowledge? The Taittiriya Upanishad says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The word Jnana refers to knowledge or Brahman or word or both. Yes, in Sanskrit, when in any scripture we read that knowledge means only one knowledge. That knowledge of Brahman is the subject. Knowledge of the self, they call Tattva Jnana, Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. These are the different terminology used. And what is Brahman? It is Satyam, it is Jnanam, it is Anantam. That Brahman is what? It is Satya, is there. It is knowledge and it is full of bliss. So, as I have said just now, that Brahman or God is Satchidananda. And that is expressed in Taittiriya Upanishad that Satyam, Satya means, what is the definition of Satya? Satya means it is here now, it was before, it will be there. If it changes, we don't call it Satya, truth. Whatever is changes, that is not truth. Who you say, oh, he is a liar. Why do you say liar? Oh, he is truthful person. Truthful person means what? What he or she told yesterday, what he or she is telling today, or what he is going to tell tomorrow, there will be no change. That we call truth, truthful person. What you said yesterday, and now you say, I didn't say that. You say something else, that's called lie. That means untruth. So in the world, what was yesterday is not today the same. What is today will not be the same. Our environment, our friendship, our love, our affection, our relationship, everything changes every day. So it is not Satyam, because it is changing. So, and because it is not change, it is always changing, so it is not the Satyam, unchanging. And because it is unchanging, that's why it is knowledge. That knowledge, Jnanam, or effulgence, as I have said. Jnanam means no ignorance is blocking our wisdom. And Anantam, infinite. So, this is another description of Brahman. So, Brahman can be described Satchidananda, Brahman can be said Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. This Jnana is the knowledge of Brahman. Yeah, it is Brahman, knowledge of Brahman, or Brahman itself, or it is effectively is COVID from God. What do you think the message is to the world? Yes, don't get confused with this my statement. As I have already mentioned, probably you didn't pay attention. I am not saying we people have to think it is God coming to me. But when you realize the truth of Vedanta, then there is no two, only one reality, and that is Brahman. That is the Atman. And in that Atman, now you come back to dream. You dream so many things. So, dreaming so many things, but who is becoming all these? Just to give you example. When you are dreaming, who is dreaming? Who has created the dream? Who has created the 10 people in the dream or 100 people in the dream? Who has created the road there, the cars there, the restaurant there, food there, people there, the pool, swimming pool there, sun there, moon there? Who has created? Your one mind has created. So, Logan, understand this, that when your mind is creating this diverse universe in the dream, only your mind is creating all this diverse. No one has gone there. So, similarly, God, the Absolute, when it is a dream of God. This what world we live, if we say it is a cosmic dream, God's cosmic play. So that's why in that play, God has become everything. As in our own dream during night, my mind becomes everything. My mind becomes the tiger, my mind becomes the river, my mind becomes the car, my mind becomes the weapon, or in the sun, moon, nothing but my mind. If we can reflect on this, then we understand the cosmic mind, whatever comes, that is called this universe. When you break the dream, then everything vanishes. So when our dream of ignorance will go, then we'll see there is nothing, it is only that Satchidananda. So the message to the world is that, yes, if your mind has raised to the level of Samadhi, then you understand there is nothing but God. It's all good, bad, everything is God. But from our level, you say, no, it is bad, good is good. Get out of the bad, be good. And then you have to rise a point when you give up your good also. 3 stages: bad, good, and beyond. So long you have bad, so you must have to try good. That's why we are trying to go for vaccine. Vaccine, protection, cure, we are trying to do that. Yes, we should have to do. But beyond that is another level when is good. And no, God is not good only. God is much beyond that. Wherever there you say good, there is in your mind, there is some concept of bad. When you say bad, you have a concept of good. But go beyond that too. That is the state of Samadhi. So, please, the message is, don't get confused with what I said. We are talking from 2 different levels. One level, our level, yes, our level, bad is bad. Good is good. We have to give up bad. We have to be good. Then again, good is to be given up to reach the truth which is beyond good and bad, duality. But if you reach a state of Samadhi, then there is no one but Brahman, nothing but Brahman, nothing but Atman, nothing but Satchidananda. So, yes. And then another question, is it necessary to first realize God in one's own self before one can see God in everything? It is, before you see God in everything, we cannot see God in everything, but we can make an attempt. It is our mental process, it's called sadhana. I see an ornament, but if somebody teaches me, hey, look at it is made of gold also. Look at the gold and also the ornament. So this idea of gold is God. We see everything. Everything is made of one element, Satchidananda element. Best example, probably Arka Prabha. You have not got my example. I give the example of what you call animal cookies. Animal cookies are all different size and shape, but they are made of the same element. So, first realize God means, no. As much as you realize God, so much you see that it is made of the one element. God is everywhere. So, it is not that I will realize God one day and then I will see God everywhere. No, it's as much as we move towards God, so we see God outside, see God inside. So, spiritual practice makes us see God everywhere easy. Eh? I cannot see God. I cannot see. I only can imagine. I can take this message of the gospel, or I can take the message of Upanishads and other spiritual literature. Oh, it is God. I don't see it, but let me impose. Let me impose the idea. It is divine, it is divine, it is Satchidananda, it is Satchidananda. It is Rama, 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 Rama. It is Krishna, 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 Krishna. So we have to practice that, and as much as we practice, so much the mind becomes clear, and that gives us the experience or tangible idea that I am interacting with God only. Okay, thank you all. Huh? Another is there. Did Ramakrishna ever suffer or have ignorance? Yes, you know, Ramakrishna, why Ramakrishna? Christ suffered, but they don't suffer like us. That is the uniqueness. Yes, he had a great cancer, you know. You know, Larry? Ramakrishna had a cancer, deep cancer, excruciating pain in the throat. And when it was unbearable, but you read the gospel, you will find he is in that state. Anyone is coming, their feelings very bad. See the suffering of Ramakrishna. But to Ramakrishna, he is in joy. Because he has disconnected this body identity. We are too much in the body identity. If anything happens to the body, I cry. But when doctors put me to anesthesia, then they do cut to pieces my body. I don't understand anything. But yogis, Ramakrishna, Christ, Buddhas, they by their own mental power, pure mind, they disassociated with the body. So whatever goes to the body, they are less affected, minimal, they can withdraw the mind. Just I can keep my this book on this side and I can put the mind book this side. They, in similar way, these great souls, they can keep the mind in the body, they can withdraw the mind from the body to God. So they are in, they actually suffer from our perspective. There is one day a statement that Ramakrishna is saying, oh, it is so much suffering. And then there was Turiyananda, Swami Turiyananda, one of his disciples. He, in the face of Ramakrishna, said, no, sir, you don't suffer. Then he said, you the rascal, you caught me in the right point. That means he recognized, I am not suffering. I am infinite. I cannot suffer. But the body is suffering. Okay, what is there in it? So they, and second question, or have ignorance? Yes, a trace of ignorance is necessary. Otherwise, how they will be in the body? If there is no ignorance, there cannot be any body. Little ignorance is necessary, but they are not ignorant like us. We are bound by our ignorance, and I am a slave under ignorance. But they are free soul. They ignorance, they accept for doing good to the others. They come to this, accept this bondage only to do good to the world. So their ignorance and our ignorance is little different. In that sense, Sri Ramakrishna had a little trace of ignorance, but that does not bother his knowledge and wisdom. So, okay, thank you all. So, tomorrow is what?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita class has 10:30, no?
7:30.
7:30 in the evening. Bhagavad Gita class 7:30 tomorrow by Swami Sattamayananda. And we end today our reading, questioning after finishing this. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanam Astu. Thank you all.